Top 5 injured players that teams need back in a hurry, especially given the stretch runs that a lot of them are on or the funks that they might be in. But number 5, Jordan Addison, questionable at USC this week. And given the fact that they're kind of a boomer bust offense, I would say that having this guy back, the best wide receiver coming back maybe in the country this year, would be huge for them. But a little banged up, coming off a Utah loss. They've got to stay in the conference race. UCLA's coming down the pipeline, of course, and they're still rolling along. They've got Oregon, I know, but even still, a big loss for them in their offense because, again, you watch USC and they're really good, but they're not there yet, and not having him is a huge, huge piece.
Yeah, he's good. I watched that game. I watched a lot more of that USC-Utah game than I thought I was. Only two good teams, a great finish, and they've got some dudes now. They do, but they're still going to have to work on the guys in the trenches. They'll need. That's what always made the great USC teams back in the days, not just the glitz and glamour.
Well, that in defense, but yeah, I mean, he's the Blitnikoff Award winner, so it'd be great to have him back, no doubt about it. And it was a shame seeing him go out as early as he did. I'm just glad that it doesn't appear to be season-ending. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's the Blitnikoff Award winner. Every school in the country would love to have Jordan Addison back. So for USC, that's going to be a very interesting timeline to watch.
This next guy's been out for most of the season in Gunnar Romney, and the way that BYU is kind of trading wins and losses week to week. I know that they're deep at wide receiver. We saw it against Baylor. You've seen it against other teams, but I just think that they need this particular guy back to get more consistent. He brings a kind of added thing. He's been in and out, and they're missing something on that offense, and I think it is veteran presence.
They didn't miss him against Baylor.
No.
Yeah, but whose receiving core has really struggled against Baylor? I mean, that's the thing. It's like, BYU looked great. Who hasn't throwing the football against Baylor at this point? And that's not to take away from BYU and the job they did, but I don't see Roberts out there just burning everybody up, week after week since then. It's just kind of a common theme with this team. But, he, like you said, he's been in and out. He's tried to give it a go and ultimately ends up injured again, and it's just very wishy-washy on as far as like his status and what to really expect with him at this point. But yeah, he's a good player. They've got other options, and I think BYU's less about Gunnar Romney being banged up and more about Jaron Hall being banged up. That's far more of an issue for them right now, in my opinion. But they'd be better with him, at his best. But he's clearly not 100% and hasn't been. These next three are the questionable quarterbacks, no word on if they're healthy or not. Sean Clifford got dinged up last week against Michigan. So far, James Franklin has been non-committal about whether he'll play this week. That Michigan defense is going to ding up a lot of quarterbacks. They get after everybody really, really well. Penn State could not move the ball really at all, especially in that first half of that game last week. It was a very impressive performance by Michigan's defense, and the drop-off between Sean Clifford and everyone else on that roster, as this is a good Penn State team, but you saw the distance between them and Michigan last week, which I think is probably the same distance between them and Ohio State. But if they don't want to lose one to a team not named those two, they need Sean Clifford back.
Yeah, they just kind of – Michigan's bigger, better, faster, stronger, and Penn State's pretty good. Penn State's got Minnesota and Ohio State in back-to-back weeks as well. Sean Clifford, he's kind of he's a guy.
And Minnesota's missing their quarterback too. Tanner Morgan may not play.
He's not just a guy. He's a good player. Yeah, I mean he's.
Oh, I said he's their guy. I'm sorry. I thought you said
But yeah, I mean we got to see a little bit more of Drew Aller, which I know people were clamoring for earlier in the year. But I think getting a situation like this and you realize how valuable a guy with his experience is, and Sean Clifford certainly. Had enough moments where Penn State fans pull their hair out a little bit, or outsiders watching are like, yeah, what's the big deal? But then you see him perform more often than not, and he's a big part of why they're where they are. So, they need to get him healthy, and it is good that we'll see perhaps a little bit of more of a Drew Aller, for example. But Clifford makes them go.
Number 2, Taulia Tagovailoa from Maryland. He's the guy that makes this whole team go, and without him. Mike Locksley's done a great job there of taking a program that was very moribund and making them exciting and a team that is actually a good watch now in the Big Ten. But they're only going to go as far as their healthy and very talented quarterback is able to take them. And he was carted off, and then they say he's day-to-day, so that's good news. But at the end of it, if you don't have him day-to-day or not day-to-day or trying to, push things off, I don't know. This is bad for a Maryland team that's got a little bit of momentum. I mean, they're not world beaters, but they're pretty good, and they're pretty good because of this guy.
What a family of quarterbacks, huh? And now he's hurt. Obviously, we know about Tua, who today, in an article from ESPN, mentioned that he lost consciousness in that game where he came back. He actually lost consciousness.
Dolphins fans said that it was his back that hurt.
Yeah.
Right, Dolphins fans?
Yeah.
Got all defensive about, people who were, concerned about the health of Tua Tagovailoa. But no, trust the coaches who said it was his back. How BS does that look at this point?
I'm sure his back did probably hurt, as did his skull and his brain and everything else.
The Gunnar Romney thing is a lacerated kidney. That's what he was coming back from. Wow, that's why it takes a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. I don't like lacerations, especially not on my internal organs. Number 1, Jalen Daniels, Kansas. I think this is kind of obvious. I don't think he's going to play this week, but there is a report, albeit unconfirmed by Kansas, and it's not going to be, that he was back at practice today, doing some things.
Go ahead.
Maybe he'll play this weekend. They're not worried about him getting hit.
Zing.
Oh, God.
I couldn't help the opportunity there. But, I would be very surprised if he played this weekend. I wouldn't throw him out there against Baylor's defense, even if they have been a little bit of a disappointment as far as getting to the backfield. That just seems really quick turnaround. But I don't know. I'm not his doctor. If he's ready to play, they're better. I mean, Jason Bean's fine. Jason Bean could probably beat Baylor with their current state the way that they are. I'd much rather face him than face a pretty healthy Jalen Daniels, that's for sure.
The chat room wants to know why you didn't put Spencer Sanders. You're talking about back, right?
Yeah. Back.
Not just.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Spencer Sanders is going to play or not.
Yeah.
He would be on this list maybe next week if he doesn't play. So
he'd be very high on the list.
He finished the game last week, so that's why I kind of thought all right, well maybe not him. So Sean Clifford didn't finish the game. Tagovailoa didn't finish the game. Addison didn't finish the game. Romney's been out for all this time, so that's why these guys were. Daniels didn't even play. That's why these guys were on the list.
All right, for a lot of you saying goodbye to you for the night. Thank you very much.